All right, so I am back. This is Stefan with Nitro Codon Dynamics, and it is finally on Steam. So go ahead, go to Steam, and go to just search the Loomsong Chronicle idle, and you will be able to wishlist that. That's probably the wrong view. Well, this is the dev view, so it'll say wish list. So go ahead and wish list it. But it is finally up on the Steam store. It went up super late last night. It got approved, so I'm just kind of now getting around to finalizing everything. So yeah, go check it out, wish list it, and also like and subscribe, and follow this channel so you can follow me along on my dev journey. Another thing that is up is the wiki for it. So this is kind of like my website for the Loomsong Chronicle. It kind of functions as Wikipedia. Also has all the links to the social media, and it has a link to the Steam store also. So that's just wiki.loomsongchronicle.com. So that is up and functional too. That way, you know exactly what the game is, what to expect. So this is I really love Path of Exile. I think I said that before. So it's going to be super loot heavy. It's going to be super build heavy. So this is where you would want to go to see everything you would need to know about the game, what kind of items can drop, what kind of things can you craft, etc. This obviously isn't fully updated. I need to get it more updated to what the current build is. But yeah, this is how it's going. And I just want to give an update on the actual game itself. So let me bring that up. I kind of just muted the game, but we have a lot more options for the game. So hasn't really been messed with too much, but there is some FSR upscaling. There's the depth of field that you can turn off if you want, but that kind of gives it that 2D HD vibe. But you can turn that on and off depending on like what your graphics card can handle. Um, then you'll have the audio, and then you have the interface, so you can show the FPS. So like if you hit apply, that takes away the FPS monitor right here. You can scale the UI just in case you're playing 4K and things are too small. And then hopefully we'll have more languages. Right now it's just set to English, but I am hoping that some point during early access we can get everything translated and added to the game. Um, and then, of course, gameplay right now, I just have the ability to turn on and off enemy health bars and loot filters. So this is like the newest thing is we now have a loot filter. So uh legendaries only drop from pinnacle bosses, uniques only drop from bosses, but any other enemy can drop normal through epic. Normal just being no magic enchantments on it, common just being one. I think magic is 2 to 3, rare is like 4 to 5, and then epic is 6. Unique has 6, but one unique I guess modifier on it, and then legendary has 7 modifiers. So that's how that is. And then the let me delete that game. So the character creation is the same. I did go through and redo the racial learning bonuses. I kind of handpicked all of those. That way, each race kind of is geared towards a more specific role. That kind of made sense to me. So I'm just kind of cleaning up all the UI, but I like the character creation for now. I'm gonna be working on the story. That way you're not just thrown into the game right away. That's going to be worked on, well, starting this weekend because I'm at that place where I finally can start doing it. And then hopefully I'm actually going to submit a build Monday. That way it's all ready and good to go, and my store page is fully validated. The game build is validated. Um, But we have some changes to the party panel. Not too much. I did redo all of um the menus and how they work. I think last time we still demonstrated how you can split things. So that still works, but the tooltips are a lot different now. So if you have something that is rare, it'll, or magic, it will have the color corresponding colors to it. If it's normal, then it'll just kind of have normal colors. So like if you have an item right here, you can hold Alt to like keep it open so you can like look at it. And then, and of course, if it has tons of mods, you would be able to scroll down. And then I did add the control for more details, so it gives you a better breakdown of all the bonuses and everything else when you hit control, and then you can let go of alt and it gets rid of it. So I thought that was kind of unique, like a pretty unique feature. That way, you can kind of look at your items and manage them better. Um, we obviously have food and drink. I need to rework the food and drink. That'll probably come in early access. I think they're just too overpowered right now. But yeah, you can have a really bad time if your character starts going hungry or thirsty. So that's all fully functional. So is all the lock picks and food and all the abilities, um, all the skills and skill masteries and abilities work. I think I'm gonna redo the see this even the abilities have the new tooltips. And this is kind of how you would set your abilities is you would have more here and just drag and drop. I'm gonna add, I need to do that this weekend, is add racial abilities to at least one racial ability. That way, just in case you haven't learned a skill yet or ability, your character will always have one starting off. But I need to rework this page so it looks a little bit better. But the traits work. Paired hands. This is like your dual wield. You'll have signature ones. You get like 9 random cards to choose from. And this is really how you build out your character outside of, giving yourself the ability points. And then I did also forgot to show you, I have some cheat menus for myself. So I have it set up to where I can increase the speed of it, give myself levels, grant my character some money. Um, so I'll go ahead and do that. That way you can kind of see. So as you can see here, I have like 26 permanent traits left because I just gave myself 100 levels. Um, and I could go through and choose them, and then once they're added, you'll have like your little trait collection. And I could just give my guy like a whole bunch of random ones. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, they'll just kind of add up here, and of course, um, these are the signature ones. So these are just like one time. They kind of change your class's mechanics essentially. Runes open up. And runes are kind of like the support gems, but they're also I get what is that game called? Like Last Epoch, I guess. They're kind of more like that, but like the my approach is that I didn't want slackable like gems or runes on armor, but I did want like where you could just have these runes that you collect. They'll have like 2 mods on them, but they specifically are geared towards changing how your abilities function, right? So they're like global support gems. So they'll give you like, some penetration, or they'll let you proc a different skill on use, or they'll give your projectiles like an additional projectile. They'll give area of effect spells more area, etc. And this is where you would socket them. I don't really have one right now to kind of display. So yeah, that's really cool. And then party, go back to equipment, but yeah, you'll have your stats right here, and then you just increase your stats. I think I need to readjust the weight bonus because it kind of becomes pointless at super high levels of like having that. But like basically your character is limited to like how much gear they can actually wear. and that's based off of your strength score. So all of these do also play a part. You get 3 ability points per level, and then they can just stack infinitely. But these will, I can guarantee you, just doing playtests, that making sure you have all of your traits and ability points set is going to be crucial for your party to not die. Your main character cannot die, but your main character can't die, but your recruits can. And I did do a full revamp of that system. So now they will, I did change how much they cost. So it'll tell you like how much they'll cost. I can actually refresh this since we gave ourselves 100 levels, but essentially they'll scale. It'll tell you what level they are. They'll be within 10 levels of your main character. These guys can die in an expedition or a pinnacle boss. They don't come back. They lose their gear. But when you recruit them, there'll be different rarities, but the rarity just basically says what starting gear they'll have. So you can see here, he's like a common, he comes with like one. Actually, that's pretty good belt. um and then the magic comes with like 2 items, and then you have your rare one comes with like 4 items. It can come up with 6 items. It does change how much you pay to recruit them. But this way, I actually got to give myself more gold to afford one. You can go back. But essentially that way, when you are higher level and you may have a character that dies, you're not starting from scratch, but it's now where none of the points are pre-spent. So you just, if you have a character die and you need to get another one at a higher level, you would just hire them, and then put their points on, get their trait cards going, and then you're ready to go back into action once you've leveled them up. So that's pretty much it. And then I was just going to show you, because last time I did not show a pinnacle boss. So those were slightly reworked. I'm still going to be doing, that's like my main push for today, is to get these pinnacle bosses in a better spot. Like, they're good now, but I want to increase the amount of abilities they have, and I just want to make sure that they're functioning like they should be functioning. I actually don't think I should be trying to fight this right now. I have some cheat items I don't know why I didn't put those on. But yeah, let me, so they will rest. That's what another thing. She's supposed to be, yeah, she'll eventually stop and wait for the other character to catch up. But essentially, you fight the boss. They're avoiding. I need to kind of fix that. And then since I don't have a revival skill, since she was down, so she can die. You can see here that they'll have these ability markers on the ground, and that's what they're trying to avoid. I do need to make sure that they can't just one-shot you off screen. That's been like one of the downsides to the pinnacle bosses, as I need to scope them a little bit better. But they're working. I'm not too sure why she's not getting up. I think she keeps having her um her revive interrupted by its skill because it can off screen her. So there needs to be some tweaks, but I mean that's essentially the idea, is that you go in the middle, you fight the pinnacle boss, and then you get the treasure, and then you leave basically, and it drops like tons of loot. I need to fix this behavior. Well, she's up now, so hopefully she'll rest a little bit, and then since she's in close enough range, she'll be able to fight. So that's like if you don't have any revive kits, it's gonna take a long time for them to revive. And of course, I didn't really level her up good, so there you go. I had the god tier weapon, so it's not gonna die in like 2 hits, but it does spawn enemies. I kind of need to correct that so they actually like spawn on the map where they can actually get to you and fight you. Um, but then yeah, so now you're going, you get the chest, and let me see. Let me equip some stuff so we can pick it all up. But they pick it all up, you get all your loot. Just make sure that you leave room for the loots in in the pinnacle boss fights, because you're going to be leaving like behind the best loot that you can get. But I did make it to where it drops a lot of loot. And then you'll get the first time you do a pinnacle boss, you will get a legendary item. It's a guaranteed legendary item from any pinnacle boss you fight the first time you kill it. All right, and then it automatically will summon your portal, and then you'll leave. And then that's the pinnacle boss fight. Cool. So that's the state of the game right now. It's pretty playable. It has a few tweaks and adjustments I need to make, just on like behavior and some of the fights, but otherwise it's good. And like I said, like there'd be music playing, but I don't really have that going because I didn't really want to. And then I also said I would take you through some of my workflows. So, and I have no problem doing that. So let me show you. I'm reworking some of the enemies and their animations. So this is what I have it do. I have it create these animation cards, right? So at first I'll say I like we already have written out the lore of an enemy, and then we have like a silhouette, and we say this is the art type for all of the sprite that are going to be in the game. This is how like animals should look. This is how monsters should look. And this is how the player NPCs and races should look. And then since that's set into their memory in, Claude Code's memory, I then go, okay, create a sprite. We need it to have, you know, south, west, and north. East is always going to be a mirror of west. And then this one it one shot and it was really good. Sometimes they're too small. Sometimes it will have something in a frame that doesn't exist in another frame, but not necessarily a good way. Like this has a pink thing because it's like a signature attack. So like it's kind of like turning peak, like it's shooting off an ability. And then we have like where it shows the animations back to back, and it'll just show me what the monster is going to look like when it's attacking, when it's walking, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, that looks fine. Sometimes it looks better like in the actual map than it does in these or like in the actual game than it does in these sprite cards, but I just want to make sure that they are animated. So usually when I'm prompting it, this is the thing I always do before any prompt is just I want to know what it's going to do before it does anything. This is You have to do this with any AI and model. You can't just sit there and be like, okay, do this. No, no, no. You got to say, make a game plan and let me know, right? So it knows to let me know. I just say, make the game plan. It knows exactly what to do because it's been doing this over and over. This is like my bestiary manager's primary role is to create and manage anything that goes in the bestiary, any monster and any animal that's in the game. It's going to be made by this specific chat. So even with this, I just go, we need a full rework of the forecast root possessor. Remember, animation type 1 overhaul. When I say animation type 1 overhaul, that is meaning I need you to lay out these cards. You're going to do each individual card again. You're going to lay them out like this for me, and then you are going to lay out their animations like this for me. So when I say overhaul type 1, that was something I had previously already built into it. We worked through a game plan already in detail to make sure that this happens. And then whenever I say the type A overhaul, it knows exactly what I want. And then we had chosen the art style. We call it hybrid C because it was a hybrid of different pixel art styles. So I'll say type 1 overhaul with the hybrid C art style. So we say let's make a game plan and make sure the sizing is good because it keeps messing up on the sizing. One frame it's taking up the whole frame, and then another frame it's like a fourth of the size. So that's something that you kind of just have to do iterations of. Like you may not always like maybe some of the frames, and then because we have them numbered, you can go, okay, well, I want attack north 4, maybe 4 looks off. I want attack north 4 to be different because maybe the coloring's off or maybe it doesn't look right. So you can go in and say specific frames that you want rebuilt and why you need it rebuilt, and just reaffirm it. That's really it. Like there isn't too much more to it. You just have to develop a system and an art style first. So you want to make sure you go through different iterations of art styles for your sprites, and then you got to lock it into its memory. You have to say save this art style to memory. You got to be careful. Always read its outputs. Always have it create reports. All right. So even when it's just done overhauling one, it's going to write a report. And this is what helps it lock in that consistency, right? Because it can go in when it's successful and I've okayed something, it says, production sequence after approval. So it knows when I ask it to do the same thing again, it can read these reports and it helps it stay on target. It helps it keep a more consistent approach to things. It's not like, how AI, especially with Chat GBT, how it generates these things is, it just goes based off of prompts and they can come out completely different. One other thing is the silhouette. That's one thing I was going to mention. The silhouette is important. So usually before going in, I'll say create a silhouette, right? These already had one, so it didn't need to do that, but it will usually I'll have like an idle south, idle west, and idle north as a silhouette. So I have 3 silhouettes from the different sides that it needs, and that just locks in what it's recreating. And then you verify the silhouettes and then you let it do its thing because those then become the reference frames that are a part of the self prompting that it will use. So it doesn't start creating completely different art styles. Troubleshooting can be kind of a pain, but once you have things locked in, it gets a little bit easier. Right now, it's doing pretty good about one shotting things, but sometimes it just starts to assume what it's supposed to do and it doesn't follow a game plan and it messes up everything and you just go, I always say like you can't install this until I have approved it. So those are like the good game plans you got to have set up. One last thing is I created a workflow for Claude because um Codex is not good at 3D modeling with Blender. So I have some 3D assets in the game that I specifically only let Claude Code make. And it's because I think I have like a screenshot here. Um let me see. Yeah, these were the original 3D models that Codex built, and they just look horrible. I mean, they're so basic, you can barely like this is supposed to be steps, and it's like a football with the thing coming out of it. It's not good. Like it does do its job where it has like these little sizing, like this is the character, and like it's sizing things, and it's showing them to me in a way that I want it to and that we developed. But the 3D models themselves are really bad. But I came up with another chat. It's disconnected from my game just because I wanted to show you like the workflow. I always have a base prompt that I give it. It's called the contract, and it just goes through everything that I want it to do and what not to do for the whole entire interaction, or for like the whole entire chat. Like, this is your, this is your folder you're working in. Don't use OneDrive. I just say like what it can and can't do. There's a clean room folder that's important, so anything that's approved goes in a clean room folder, and that's just a folder that's specifically for your game, your program, or the output assets that you want. It just means nothing else is in there. No reports, no nothing else. That's also one of the more important things. um but as you can see, it can make some really beautiful simple things in Blender. Takes a screenshot, or it takes those rendered outputs. It can show you in the chat, but it created its own reiteration of this. I try to get it to do a 3D like D&D model, and it's interesting. The results, as you can tell, it does get better and better. Where it comes out with the final output, I actually do like how it does cloth, like this cloak, and how it drapes is actually really good and cool, but everything else is kind of sketch and not great. But I have to say, it going from this mess to whatever this is, the little egg-shaped head, and like the feet are just like, I don't even understand what those are. To this, it's not bad because it's able to look at it and then recognize like, oh, that looks like garbage. This is garbage too, but it's not anything close to what I would want at the end of the day. But it can do 3D modeling, and it can teach itself to get better at 3D modeling, which I have not been able to get Codex to self teach it to get better at using Blender. Like, it did get better at using Blender, but only marginally. Where this I mean, the improvement from one iteration to the next is pretty substantial. So that gets me excited about it. Well, anyway, that's just kind of some of my flows. That's the state of the game. If you made it this far, then I appreciate you. Please check out the wiki. Please check out the store page. It's coming soon. Please wish list it. This helps get visibility to it. If this is something you think is cool, leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.